On the agenda tonight, we're going back to 1990. We're going to be taking a look at Linda Ronstadt and Aaron Neville, and they're going to be performing Don't Know Much. Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, and welcome to another analysis video. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. So this is a live performance, so we'll get it up on screen, and I'm probably going to be jumping into this, so if you want to watch it the whole way through without me interrupting it, there's a link in the description below as always. But let's see how Linda and Aaron get on.
Look at this face, I know the years are showing. Look at this life, I still don't know where it's going. I don't know much, but I know I love you. And that may be all I need to know.
Look at these eyes, they've never seen what matters. Look at these dreams, so big and so better.
I don't know much, but I know I love you. And that may be all I need to know. So many questions still left unanswered. So much I've never broken through.
And when I feel you near me, sometimes I see so clearly the only truth I've ever known, me and you.
Man, so blessed with inspiration. Look at this soul, still searching for salvation. I don't know much, but I know I love you. And that may be all I need to know. But I know I love you, and that may be all there is to know.
And there we have it. So it turns out that I didn't jump into that, because how could you stop that performance? And I mean, what a great performance just all round, the band as well. That lead guitar break that we had going on. I'll probably get the guitar out a little bit later on just to see what was going on there. But this duet, I mean, it's such a great live performance, and singing a duet is totally different from just singing an independent lead vocal. And we will take it all the way back to the beginning and listen to the isolated vocals, because Aaron's voice is so interesting. There's so much going on there. Let me just take down the instrumentation, have a listen to this. see what's going on.
Look at this face. I know the years are showing. Look at this life. I still don't know where it's going.
So, I mean, with Aaron's... with his voice... Okay, so... His voice is a bit of an illusion because the way that where he places his voice is actually quite nasal. So, because if I'm singing the same notes...
Look at this face.
Look at this face. Look at this face.
I know the years are showing.
I know the years are showing.
Look at this life.
And here we've got this, look at this life. And he kind of goes to air, he kind of hits his pitch, and then allows air to take over after that. But it's really quick, like that. But when you're listening to it, he's got this la. So in order to get the same kind of sound, it's not going to sound the same because I would probably put a lot more kind of body into that. But when I sing it live, it sounds low. But this is the illusion. That's what I'm talking about. When Aaron sings it, it sounds high because he's got high. He's kind of placing it a little bit more there. I'd have to go for more of a kind of pinchy, twangy sound to get it to sit in the same kind of place. But again, this is what's so unique about Aaron's voice, that he's got this tone that just makes his voice sound higher than it actually is.
I still don't know where it's going.
So here, na 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 na. So those are the notes, na 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 na. But we've got this. It is kind of like that, but I mean that's the beauty of the voice we're listening to. It's just got its own personality and its own distinct tone.
I don't know much, but I know I love you.
And, I mean, we are going to listen to this in slow motion because it sounds like Aaron's vibrato is vibrato and tremolo happening at the same time. So when we've got this, it kind of goes into a pulsing sound. Right, let's listen to this in slow motion. I mean, we can see the change in pitch on screen, but we've got this. So you can hear that breathing, the breath in the sound, which is the tremolo, and you can hear the change of pitch at the same time. This is another thing that you might actually, during this performance, hear a bit of Bee Gees sound in there, because when we have analysed Barry's voice in the past, we've looked at the fact that he sometimes did full tremolo, going ha 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 ha, where he's just going ha 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 ha, and sometimes he'd actually do it really slowly, so that it's just breathing but on pitch, and it gives the illusion of vibrato, but it isn't actually vibrato. So you might get your ear going into that place from Barry Gibb's voice because it's the same thing that is going on, but obviously, you know, Aaron's voice just has a totally unique tone to it as well.
And that may be all I need to know.
Same thing there.
Look at these eyes, they've never seen what matters.
And now we just get a more traditional vibrato, just straight vibrato here, which means we're going to hear this. You're going to start to hear those waves of the note because it's not breaking off. We haven't got any air in there. Their voices on screen, just really accurate pitch-wise, but I don't really need to say that because they're great singers. We looked at Linda in the past on the channel, and she's just so accurate all the time. But let's listen on.
Look at these dreams.
Again there, that vibrato, which you'll hear the waves, and exactly like that, Linda's voice goes flat of the note. Have a listen. Kind of like that, actually going down a perfect semitone here to the G4.
So deep and so very.
I don't know much, but I know I love you.
We've got to listen to that again. This video could go on for years because there's so much to point out about it. We're going to listen just to this vibrato because now this vibrato and tremolo, Aaron's actually exaggerating it here. He's slowed it down. Have a listen. I mean, it's so even, but you can hear that the pulsing of the breath, but also that change in pitch, which we can see on screen. But another thing that I wanted to point out was listen to Linda's vocal, because she's the lead vocal. And then she comes in with her harmony line. Listen to the way that she edits her voice and the volume of her voice. So she's approaching it dynamically now to be under Aaron's voice. Having come from that lead vocal, it's now a supporting vocal. And this is the thing about singing a duet. And it's just a different art form, because if you're singing, you know, two lead vocals independently, but you're trying to do a duet, it's not going to sound very good because you'll just be singing your own version of the song or your own melody, but it'll just be like two lead vocals. There's no blending there. You have to blend your voices if you're singing with somebody else, if it's a duet. And this is what we get from Linda, but it's also an important point to bring up about the vibrato and the tremolo. But let's listen to this first of all. Listen to the way that Linda's voice, even though she's harmonizing with Aaron after her lead vocal, how quiet her voice is. And then you can only just hear it at the end. Have a listen.
So deep and so very.
I don't know much, but I know I love you.
I mean, you know that she's singing her harmony line there, but it is so subtle because she's intentionally allowing Aaron's voice just to sit on top there. So it's this vocal blending. You know, she's not, she's not overpowering. And this is the other thing about having that dynamic appreciation. It means that if you want to make a point of just going and blending and then taking a little bit more attention for your vocal, you've got the option to do that because you've started in a place that's left you somewhere to go. So look out for that throughout the rest of this performance.
And that may be...
Again, Linda's voice is almost not there because she's being so subtle with it. But again, she's leaving herself somewhere to go to then match the same, dynamic expression that Aaron's giving to his voice.
And that may be all I need to know.
Again, at the end of the line there, that's Linda just coming up to match. I mean, she's probably just a little bit under where Aaron's voice is.
So many questions still left unanswered. So much I've never broken through.
And when I feel you near me, sometimes I see so clearly the only truth I've ever known, me and you.
And there it is. So Aaron has now done exactly what I was saying about Linda's voice, the way that she sang her harmony line, and it was almost inaudible. But then she brought it up to where Aaron was. It doesn't even register until he just blends it in. And again, the last thing you want to do when you're coming in with a harmony line is come in with so much volume that you've now lost what was the lead vocal. But listen to Aaron's voice here.
The only truth I've ever known is me and you.
So we have this really subtle blend of that, and it just allows it to come in. I mean, yeah, it's great. I mean, this is a fantastic performance the whole way through. Selling a performance like this, visually, and getting the right interaction on stage is a huge part of it. If there isn't really chemistry between two vocalists when they're singing a duet, it just can start to feel a bit awkward. But, I mean, you can tell here that there's obviously, I would say chemistry, but I think it's just more of a mutual respect and admiration of each other as vocalists, because I don't think, at least not to my knowledge, that they had a relationship together or anything along those lines. It's purely professional, but you can tell that they're just huge fans of each other on a professional level. That really does come across in this performance, and I mean, it's such a huge part of it, just making the story of the song believable, and especially when you think this is a live performance. I mean, it's just such a great performance all around. And I am skipping over the guitar solo, which of course, it seems like sacrilege for myself, but I will get the guitar out later to see what was going on with it. But I mean, it's not sacrilege when you're just getting straight back into these vocals.
I don't know much, but I know I love you, and that may be all I need to know. I don't know much, but I know I love you.
And listen to that. I mean, first of all, just listen to it. But the way that Linda is now actually matching Aaron's vocal, and it really does stand out there. And again, I said, listen out for this throughout the performance, where Linda is blending her voice, and it gives her the option to then lean into it a little bit more, to add that, dynamic change if she wants it. Let's have a listen again.
But I know I love you.
And now, you can distinctly hear Linda applying a little bit of tremolo to her vibrato and actually slowing down her vibrato. This is another huge point, that when you're singing with somebody else, with great singers, this happens instinctively. So when Aaron's singing ooh, and has a slower vibrato with tremolo, Linda's now ooh. Well, actually, ooh, in this case, that's what is being sung by Aaron, and then ooh is Linda's note. But it's this instinctive blending of not only the voices but the techniques. And this is another art form in itself, because there are so many singers who just have a vibrato, and it's a natural vibrato, and they can't necessarily control it, the speed of it. It just happens, which, on one side, it is great because it means it's going to make your voice unique. So when you sing, it's just going to sound like you. It's going to just have your personality woven into it in your vibrato. We're talking about a duet here. So it means that if you imagine somebody singing with a slow wide vibrato, and somebody else harmonizing with them with a and having a kind of faster, thinner vibrato, or at least covering less pitch. You might even have somebody that has a fast tremolo vibrato, which would be like that. So I'm just thinking of adding all those three together, which I might be able to do in the edit. But you'll be able to hear how that sounds, so that it just won't blend. Because when you're singing a duet, it's different. You can't have the same approach to singing a lead vocal. And the same thing for backing singers. You know, being a great backing singer is different to just singing your own vocal, because then you've got nothing to blend with. You don't have to worry about it so much. But here we've got the control of vibrato from Linda, and this is why this is, you know, a Grammy-winning performance and a Grammy-winning duet, because of the level that they are going to, I mean, not only just sell the song and the emotion in the song and that connection that they have, the chemistry together, but all of the techniques that are changing to blend with each other. This isn't something that, even, especially in a live performance, that Linda is necessarily counting out the frequency of Aaron's vibrato. She's naturally matching it. She's just making the changes instinctively with her voice, because, you know, she's that good that she can do it and just go with the feel and go with the flow of the performance, which is so important in a live setting. But anyway, let's listen on.
And that may be all there is to know. Whoa.
And there we have it again. So, I mean, that little run from Aaron at the end as well. The most important part of that, really, with any run, is to get your final pitch, you know, as accurate as possible, because that then makes sense of the whole run that you've heard. It keeps it obviously all in key. It's going to resolve it, and that's exactly what we get. I mean, that was such a great lead guitar solo, and even that was a journey. And this is the thing about instrumentally, this whole performance is just great. Let's have a listen. Yeah, we've kind of got this I might be making that bit up, but yeah, that. And I mean, I love it. It's you're not overplaying like that second phrase there. You know, it's so kind of just playing a note, using vibrato, getting that note to sing again. That's why vibrato is such a huge part of getting a note to sing and playing great lead guitar. But again, it's the application of technique for melody that serves the song, rather than playing really technically, or maybe too technically, you know, playing too many notes too quickly and therefore losing relevance to the song, which is the last thing you want to do. But let's just take it back and have a listen. Not sure where we got to. I mean, a great example there. We've got this just a really simple slide up and down, and that comes after the I'm just thinking whether I'd probably play that with my second finger. But anyway, I mean, it's all about the phrasing as well. That kind of thing. I mean, it's a great little run. You know, but anyway, I'm pretty sure those are the notes. And, I mean, that again, just leaving you at the top of the mountain, you know, going to a high note to end the solo. Let's get the run up, because a hit. Have a listen. Okay, so we've got this, I think, kind of start down there, and we kind of have a really quick slide up here. And then it's a bend with vibrato to finish, I think. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of... You can hear that little wobble of vibrato. I mean, it just makes a huge difference. But again, a really tasteful solo, and the kind of solo that, even though I haven't learnt it because it's melodic, you can start to kind of play your way through it. So we kind of had... I'm going to try and do this now. It's kind of like that. There we go. So that was, I mean, that it probably wasn't all of the notes, but this is the point, that when there's a melodic guitar solo that just fits the mood and the feel, you're pretty much just playing it from feel. Like, you hear it once and you think, oh wow, that's great. I mean, I know that there are sections there that I listened to maybe 2 or 3 times to hear a little bit more clearly the phrasing, but this is the point, that once you've heard it once, it's like something that gets stuck in your head. It's like something that's a hook. And that's the great thing about great lead guitars, well, great lead guitarists, but just great lead guitar, is that it's like a mini song in itself. So then you can repeat it without actually having to hear it that many times. And yeah, as you can see, I wasn't reading the notes from a bit of paper, because they get stored in the feeling, in the emotion of the way it's being played. So this is the other thing, that when you're listening to, a great guitarist play a solo, and obviously if he's playing like 1,000,000 notes a second, you will have to slow that down and listen to exactly the notes that are going on, because it's just too much to take in consciously. But great solos like this go in consciously. So it is like listening to somebody's voice in exactly the same way that I can go, na, 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 na. You know, when you're thinking about the melody, all of these notes, I'm not reading them, they've stayed in my head because they've consciously gone in as a melody that's gone in with emotion. So you've kind of felt it, and it's affected you emotionally to the point where you remember it. And that's what happens in life. If something happens to you that you have a significant emotional response to, you remember whatever happened when you felt those emotions. So this is the point with music, and with great voices, great melodies, but just great instrumentalists. It doesn't even have to be a guitar solo. It can be any solo, any instrument. When you're listening to a great instrumentalist, they will make you feel something, and therefore you remember what it was that made you feel that, and that's why you remember the notes. So, and this is the reason that you can then start repeating stuff and not have to hear it 1,000,000 times to do quite an accurate version of whatever you heard, because you consciously store it. You don't have to read the notes to remember what they were. But again, I think this is a totally different point and something different to this video about, interpreting information and sound, and how we use a different part of the brain to listen to things emotionally than when you're learning things theoretically and reading them, and learning scales and modes and all this kind of thing. Like I said, it's a totally different thing to this video. Anyway, I'm going to be calling this video to a close, but thank you guys for requesting this particular video for me to take a look at. As always, keep the suggestions and requests coming in the comment section below, and let me know what you guys think. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys at the next one. Rock!